Hi, my dear students. How are you? Welcome to the session. In this video, we are going to talk about tenses. So when we talk about tenses, I'm sure we have already studied this topic in our junior classes n number of times. In fact, this is a part of curriculum right from the 6th standard and continues to be a part of English syllabus till the 12th standard. And the interesting part is that you get tenses questions in any of the aptitude exams that you give that has got a verbal section in it. So yes, it is very, very important. We have been studying about it, yet we are struggling the most in this particular topic. So when we ask students that what is your weak area, one answer that immediately comes is grammar. And when we dig into grammar and we reach to this topic tenses, students would at all not want to study tenses, right? And they have this fear. They feel that this is the topic which they'll never understand, or the questions you will never be able to solve. So it's just the mental fear that's stopping you. It's not that difficult, right? So what are we going to understand in this video, that how each tense is different from the other category. Right, so let's get started. My name is Juhi Narula. So what are we going to do? First, let's see what are we going to cover in this class. So we are going to have a short introduction that we have already had, right? Then we are going to do the classification based on time frame. Now this is very simple. Most of you know it. That we can divide tenses in three major categories, which would be some present, past, and future. The second classification that we are going to do would be on the basis of aspect. So whether the action is continuous or it is perfect or it is indefinite, right? All these categories we are going to explore, and I'll make you understand that how these categories function. The next is we are going to do a simple diagram of tenses. So we try to do it in a logical fashion. We are able to absorb the content effectively, right? Then we are going to do the list of rules. We are going to individually touch the category present tense and all the four subtenses in this category, past tense, all the four subtenses, future tense, all the four subtenses, and then we are going to do a lot of examples. So I'm sure we are clear with the agenda. We are going to keep it very simple, and hopefully after this video, you should be able to solve all the tenses questions, or you'll be at least more comfortable with the concept, right? So let's get started. So as we know, students usually ask us that what is the difference between verb and tense. So verb tells you that an action is happening, and tense tells you the time of action. So if I say I am teaching in the class, so I'll just make this sentence. I'll just write the sentence for you. Right, so let me write this sentence to you. I am teaching in the class. So as you can understand, the verb is teach. So the action that is happening is teach. But with the help of is, am, are plus verb first form plus ing, which is nothing but a present continuous, right? So with the help of this, we are able to understand that the action is happening at the time of speaking. So how did you realize? Now in each and every sentence, you need to tell the time of action. That is the reason we bring the aspect of tense into consideration. Now tense is derived from the Latin word tempus, which like I previously indicated, refers to time. So a verb indicates the time of an action, event, or condition by changing its form, right? So keep on varying, and how would you vary depending on the time usage that you would want to exhibit in the sentence, right? So the action is happening is teaching. Teach is the verb, but with the help of is, am, are plus verb first form plus ing, it's simple. Like you can see, am is used with I, is used with singular subject. So you could have used she is teaching, or Ram is teaching, or he is teaching, and are will be for plural, right? So we are teaching, they are teaching, teachers or professors are teaching. So in this case, if the subject is plural, you will go with the combination of are plus verb first form plus ing. This, of course, we will revise again, we will discuss again, but since the idea was introduced here, I thought to throw some light. So, present continuous, the sentence that we made that helps us understand that the action is happening at the time of speaking, right? So, let's further proceed and see how do we do the first classification. We classify on the basis of time frame. Simple. See, either the action is happening in this block, which is present, or it has happened before. So if it has happened before, it is past, and if it's going to happen in the coming time, it would be future, right? So this is the simple classification. Now, as you know, if you don't know, then I'm telling you, each of these will have 4 individual categories. So there are total 12 tenses which you should know, and we should know the difference where to use which tense, right? So, like I said, present tense expresses an unchanging, repeated, or recurring action. So, something which is unchanging would be that if I give you this example, sun rises from the east. So, this cannot change, right? Or recurring, I brush my teeth every day. So this is an action that I'm doing on regular basis. So what are the tenses that we are using here? Both the tenses that I've used would be the present tense. Past, like I said, it is an expression of an action or a situation that was finished and started in the past. So action started in the past, it finished in the past, and that's where we are going to use the past tense. Coming to the future tense expresses an action that will occur in the future. So that's going to happen in the coming time, right? So this is the simple classification. So you can take 40 seconds, a minute, and just absorb. This is very basic, but please keep on revising so that you know that there is no intertwining of the things and they're not getting unnecessarily complex for you. So please do revise and then we will proceed. So let's further proceed. Now, based on the aspect, so how do you categorize? Aspect refers to the nature of the action. So what do we mean by this new term that you're encountering? Aspect, that's the nature of the action. So there are 4 aspects: indefinite or simple. So for any tense, you will have these 4 categories. Like for instance, if you pick present, you'll have simple present, you will have a present continuous. So if I use the term continuous or I use the term progressive, I can interchangeably used. These 2 terms can be interchangeably used. Similarly, you can use simple present or you can also write indefinite. So don't get bothered that, ma'am, in schools we have learned simple. Now what is this indefinite that we are talking about? Both these are interchangeably used terms. Then when we are talking about present, we will also learn about present perfect. Now this is applicable to future categories and past categories also. And then there would be present perfect continuous. So how these categories are created, let's try and learn. Before that, let me erase the board for you. So for each of the tenses, that means you're talking about present, you will have these 4 categories. You talk about future, it will have these 4 categories. You talk about past, it will have these 4 categories, right? So let's try and understand that what are these categories, right? So the first category that we talk about is indefinite tense, right? So it does describe an action but does not state whether the action is finished or not. So this clarity indefinite tense will not provide. Continuous action is action that is happening, right? So it is not yet completed, it is happening. Perfect tense means action is done. So you can always connect perfect tense with an action completed. You can say this is an action which is done. Perfect continuous tense would be that, it combines different tenses, right? So an action that was in progress and then finished. So this is, as you can see, continuous and perfect, both these terms are there, right? So continuous means it is happening and perfect means it is reaching to the line of finishing, right? So let's individually explore each of the tenses. Before that, this is the diagram that you can see for yourself. Simple, easy, breezy diagram. Just absorb it. There are 12 tenses that we are going to do. Just walk through it and then we will discuss each of the tense in detail. So let's further see. Now, it is very, very important for us to understand how these sentences are formed. So this is exactly presenting that list. Let me elaborate it an easy way for you. So let's start with the present one. So if we talk about the first category, present indefinite, then how do we make a sentence? We just use verb first form. Like I say, I brush. So brush is verb first form. My teeth every day. Right? So this is first. Now let's come to the second one, which is what? Present continuous. This I have already explained. Let's redo it. Is, am, or are plus verb first form plus ing. So I am teaching. So teach plus ing. I am teaching in the class. Now you can have further variations. You can say she is teaching in the class, or you can say they are teaching in the class, right? So you can see the variation. So is for singular, right? Am you'll always use with I, and with plural you are going to use are. So this is the second category. Now let's come to the third one, which is present perfect, which would be has or have plus verb third form. I will explain each of the usage in detail. Just first learn the formulas so that you're clear here. So has is for singular and have is for plural. And with I and you also you are going to use have. Right? So I'll say I have completed my work. Okay? Or she has completed her work. Okay, so this is how you use the third present perfect. Now let's come to the fourth one, which is present perfect continuous. So how do we use it? We use has or have plus been plus verb first form plus ing. So I have been teaching since 3 p.m. So imagine the time is 6 p.m. and I'm making the statement. So you can in the bracket write present time 6 p.m. So the action that is started in the past and still continuing. So you can quickly note it down, make some quick notes. You get more involved if you learn grammar by writing, and then I will explain the other four categories. So please try the discussion, by learn the discussion or get more involved by making some quick notes. So you have all the forms in front of you with the examples that will make the life really easy for you. Then we will talk about the other four past and other four of future, and I will later explain you the usages, right? So please do that and then we will proceed. I'll give you 2 minutes to do this. Take your time, write it well, so that once we know the functionality or how do we place it in the sentences, then it will become easier for us. So I'm sure now we understand. So let me just erase the board and let me explain that how the other four tenses of past are used. Then we will talk about future. So it is very, very important to know the correct usage. Otherwise, you might really mess up, and that we wouldn't want for ourselves. Chalo. So let's try and learn about the past categories. So these four categories, the formulas I've already given you, right? Now let's talk about past. So past simple, that will be the first category, will be verb second form. Okay. So it will be I taught yesterday. It's an action that has already happened, right? So this is past, simple past. Now let's come to past continuous. So this will be the second category. Past continuous would be was or were plus verb first form plus ing. So was will be for singular and were will be for plural. So she was baking a cake when phone rang. So an action that was happening continuously but interrupted. So in that case, we use past continuous. I'll explain the usages again. So in case you want to use were, they were baking a cake when the phone rang, right? So you can use that ways also. Let's come to the third one. So the third category we can write here would be past perfect, right? So we use how past perfect, we say had plus verb third form. So irrespective of whether the subject is singular or plural, we always use had plus verb third form. So I can say she had finished her assignment before the teacher left. So an action that has been completed before a specific time in the past. When we learn the usage, I'll put more emphasis on it. I hope you are clear. So you could have altered it as they had finished their assignment before the teacher left. In case you would want to know that whether the subject is singular or plural, there would be no variation in this particular form, right? So let's come to the last one, which would be for the past category, which will be past perfect continuous. So the usage will be, the formula will be had plus been plus verb first form plus ing. So she had been baking a cake, right? So had plus been plus bake plus ing, right? So this is how we use the four categories of past tense. You can again make some quick notes. See, it's there. You could take a screenshot, right? Even that can work. But the idea is when you write it, you absorb it more, right? So take 2 minutes and note it down, and then we'll discuss the future categories. And of course, I will tell you the usage of each and every tense. I'm sure you have noted. So let's move to the next category. Before that, let me rub the board for you. Yeah. So let's learn the next, which is what? Which is future tense. So let's learn that. So the first will be simple future, right? So simple future will be will plus verb first form, right? So this is simple. I will play cricket. Future continuous will be will plus be plus verb first form plus ing. I will be playing cricket tomorrow, right? Future perfect would be what? So you can see here, this is the table that we've already learned. So will, shall, this I was teaching. Will plus be plus verb first form, will. So the only variation will be will, and then you have half third form, and again will, have been plus verb form plus ing. So this is the table of the entire tenses that I was just teaching you. And I have also used some sentences, so I'm sure that has brought more clarity. Now again, you can make a table like this in your notebooks, or you can do it on a piece of paper so that it is easy for you to stick it in front of your study table. So this is how the retention is going to become better. Otherwise, most of us mess up here only. We don't understand where which usage would be correct, and then we are not able to answer the questions correctly. So you can take 2 minutes and make this perfect table for yourself. So we have covered all the usages. Now in the later part, after you note it down, I'm going to tell you how each of the tenses used, right? So please do that. So let's further proceed. Now let's learn each tense individually. And I'm going to tell you about the usage of each tense, right? So let's start with the present indefinite tense. So we use this particular tense, this tense, to talk about universal truths or your regular day-to-day actions or habits. I brush my teeth every day. I go to work every day. I go to school every day, right? I pray every day. So all these are regular habits or universal truths. Sun rises from the east, right? You can write one or two examples for each usage. Sun rises from the east. So this is what a universal truth, right? Or earth revolves around its axis, right? You can see these examples. Or man is a social animal. So you can see the usages, right? So again, just to make things easy for you, this would be verb first form. So now you know the complete picture of simple indefinite present tense. First, universal truths or regular habits. You know the formula verb first form, and now you have the example. So I'm sure now this particular portion of tenses is sorted for you, right? Now let's move to the second category, present continuous. Before that, you can make some quick notes. Try to, bring everything on a piece of paper or on a chart so that it is easy for you to stick it in front of the study table. That's the only way, right? If you are going to open the books every time and make a lot of detailed notes, it's going to consume a lot of time which you already don't have. So let's make things simple, and for tenses you have to revise it multiple times. So it's always better to have a chart and take a glance wherever and whenever possible, right? So you can write it now. For I am sure with simple tense, simple present tense, or you call it indefinite tense, you know the clarity, you know the entire picture, you know the usage, you know the examples, you know the formula, so you'll be able to deal it, right? Write it, take a minute, write it well, so that you're able to revise whenever it is needed, and then I will teach you the next category. So let's do the next one. which is present continuous. I'm not trying to keep all the tenses on the single screen, otherwise it will really become messy and might confuse you. So it is, am, are plus verb first form plus ing. This I've already explained it to you in detail. So this talks about action happening at the time of speaking. Right? So it's an action that is happening at the time of speaking. So if I say, I am teaching in the class. So this is an action that I'm doing while I'm writing this sentence, right? Or you are making notes, right? So this is nothing but you are, right? You apostrophe re. So apostrophe is slightly digressing, but we are using apostrophe. It's used for two reasons. One is possession. So you say it's Ram's pen, and you use apostrophe s, or you use it for contraction like we have done above. So you apostrophe re actually means you are, right? So I'm sure you're clear with the second tense. See, it's that simple. We have already covered two tenses. Again, you have everything that you need to know about present continuous tense on the screen. You can take a minute and write it, and then I'll teach you the next tense. So let's move to the next tense, which is present perfect tense. So formula is has or have plus verb third form. This I've already explained it to you in detail, right? So we use present perfect for an action that has been completed in the recent past, just finished action. Okay, so if I say I have finished my homework, so you can write in the bracket happened just before or recently, right? So an action that has been completed, like we already, when we were doing the classification, we said that the aspect classification perfect would be that the action is completed, right? So perfect will show that it is done. So an action that has been completed in the recent past, there we use present perfect, right? So you can make notes, and then we move to the next. So I'm sure we are sorted. Let's further move to the last category, which is present perfect continuous tense. So you use has or have plus been plus verb first form plus ing. This I've already explained it to you in detail few minutes back. So where do we use present perfect continuous? Action which started in the past and is still continuing. So if I give you this example, I have been teaching since 9 a.m. And just imagine at this point of time, the time is 12 noon. So what has happened is that this is past, the action started. So this is 9 a.m. Uh, the action, and at this point of time, time is 12 noon, and I'm still teaching. Right? You can make this diagram to bring you better clarity when you revise. So action that began in the past and is still continuing when I'm talking to you, right? So this is how we use present perfect continuous. So you can make some quick notes, you can make this quick diagram so that, when you revise, you are able to, understand better. And also, if possible, now you have learned all the four categories of present tense, you can quickly go through the concept again, take 2 minutes, and then I will also create a recap for you so that it is easy to absorb, and then we move to the next four past category. So I'm sure you have done the revision. Let's quickly revise. Indefinite simple present tense used when we talk about our day-to-day activities, or when we talk about universal truths. Present continuous action that's happening at the time of speaking. Present perfect tense action which has just completed, and present perfect continuous the action which started in the past and is still continuing, right? So four tenses sorted. I'm sure you're feeling more confident. So we have discussed all this in detail, right? So we know these four tenses now. Let's come to the past category, right? So when we talk about the first category, which is simple past, which is what? Verb second form. And where do we use simple past? We use simple past to describe an action that has occurred in the past, right? I played football, he played badminton. So we are using verb second form, and that's how we are going to use the past indefinite, right? So you can quickly make a note, simple usage, right? Let's come to the next one, past continuous. So it was an ongoing action that started in the past, and it, maybe you can, if you want to further make it specific, it was continuing and then got interrupted. So I was playing cricket when my mom came. She was playing badminton while rain started. Okay, so the event was happening and it got disrupted due to some other event, right? So that's how you're going to use past continuous usage. As you can already see in the sentences, was or were plus verb first form plus ing. You can quickly make some notes, and then we will move to the next category. So let's move to the past perfect. So action completed before a specific time in the past. I had played cricket when my friend came. So this action was completed, and this is that is reflecting before a specific time. So what was the specific time? Arrival of the friend, right? Arrival of the friend. And you have to keep this in mind that it is usually what in the verb second form. So came. So if you can see, maybe I should write it better. Friend came. That's what I'm trying to write here, right? So an action that completed before a specific time in the past. Formula we have already discussed, had plus verb third form. So you can make some notes and then we will move to the last category of the past. So let's move to the next category, which is past perfect continuous tense. So what is past perfect continuous? An action that began in past, continued in past, and finished in past. So it would be had plus been plus verb first form plus ing, right? So now we have learned all the four categories of past also. It's time to move towards the next four tenses, which would be the last four and future category tenses, right? So see how far have you come. You have covered 8 tenses. So I'm sure you're feeling very confident now, and it's an amazing feat. Maybe when you revise, or you can rewatch the video and do it in 3 parts if you're feeling that there's too much of information to handle, might happen. But see, the more you're going to revise, the better concept clarity you're going to get, right? So let's talk about future indefinite or simple future. That will be shall or will. Shall has become archaic, so usually trainers don't talk about this word, but you can say shall or will plus verb first form. So that's how we use future indefinites, the action that's going to happen in the future, right? I shall play, she will play, I will write, I will go outside. So any example that you take, simple, isn't it? Please note it down and then we move to the next category. So future continuous is going to be used when we talk about actions that are going to continue for some period of time in the future, right? So I shall be playing. So the action is going to have some continuity, right? So again, the formula will be shall or will plus be plus verb first form plus ing, right? So you can quickly revise and then we move to the next tense. Let's move to the next one, which is future perfect. So an action that will be completed in the future before another action takes place. Simple. So you can use the tense in the following way: shall or will plus have plus verb third form, right? So just to revise all the perfect forms. So when we talk about present perfect, so we are already talking about perfect. So perfect will be has or have plus verb third form. Uh, Past would be had plus verb third form. And future will be, like I've already written, shall or will plus have plus verb third form. So in both these cases, past and future, you can see that there is no concept of singularity and plurality, right? In present, for a singular subject, we use have, and for plural subjects, we use have, right? So let's move to the next tense, which is future perfect continuous, right? So, as the name suggests, it is used to indicate a continuing action that will be completed at some specific time in the future, right? So, it is again simple: shall or will plus shall plus have plus been plus verb first form plus ing, right? So we can do the revision for all the three when we talk about perfect continuous tense, right? So if it is simple, then it will be what? It will be has or have plus been plus verb first form plus ing. And if it will be, this is what simple, this would be present, right? And if we talk about past, perfect continuous, it would be had plus been plus verb first form plus ing. And for future, I've just written the formula for you. Right. So now I'm sure we are sorted with the tenses. Right. So here is the list of the examples. Now you can take a look, take 2 minutes, and we have discussed all these forms. I'm sure you will be feeling more confident. You must be having better clarity, and you'll be able to, absorb the concept better, right? So take good care. Excuse me. So take good care of yourself. Do revise these concepts, and don't forget consistency is the key. All the best.